Welcome back to our channel, soap fans. Today is a beautiful day to dive deep into the emotional wreckage of Genoa City. We have an incredibly intense character study to unpack today, focusing on a collision of past traumas and future shocks. Grab your coffee and brace yourselves, because the fallout from Las Vegas is about to hit home in the most heartbreaking way possible. Let us get right into it. The neon lights of Las Vegas have always cast a long, sinister shadow over Adam Newman. But the recent harrowing ordeal orchestrated by Matt Clark has plunged him into a darkness deeper than he has ever known. The physical chains that bound him in that suffocating, dust-choked warehouse alongside his severely impaired brother, Nick Newman, may soon be broken. But the psychological shackles remain tightly fastened. Survival in Sin City demanded the resurrection of a ghost. It demanded the return of Spider. When Matt Clark was executing his sadistic, twisted game of psychological warfare, parading a drugged and broken Nick before Adam's helpless eyes, the polished, corporate exterior of Adam Newman had to die. In its place, the primal, ruthless, detached survivor known as Spider had to take the wheel. Spider does not feel pain. Spider does not feel fear. Spider only calculates, maneuvers, and survives. But as the Las Vegas nightmare inevitably draws to a close and the dust settles on Matt Clark's reign of terror, Adam is faced with the agonizing reality of returning to Genoa City. You can take the man out of Vegas, but extracting Vegas from the man is an entirely different, incredibly painful endeavor. Upon his return to the familiar, yet suddenly alien landscape of Genoa City, Adam finds himself profoundly disconnected from the world around him. The transition from a life-or-death struggle in a booby-trapped desert wasteland to the pristine, quiet luxury of his penthouse is violently jarring. He is physically safe, but his mind is still trapped in that dim, echoing room. He still hears the rattle of chains. He still smells the stale air. He still sees Nick's hollow, drug-addled eyes staring blankly into the abyss. The adrenaline that kept him alive is slowly draining away, leaving behind a hollow, aching void. Adam struggles to recalibrate. He attempts to wear the tailored suits, to drink the expensive scotch, to look out over the glittering skyline of the city his father built. But the reflection in the glass is not the prodigal son. It is Spider. The detachment is heavy. The isolation is absolute. He is a man walking through a world of ghosts, completely unaware that the most devastating emotional blow is not going to come from a psychopath in Nevada, but from the woman who once held his entire heart. Across town, a completely different kind of terrifying reality is unfolding for Sally Spectra. The vibrant, fiercely ambitious woman has been brought to a complete standstill by two small, plastic sticks, two positive pregnancy tests. The confirmation is absolute, soon to be verified by the clinical, undeniable blood work at Genoa City Memorial Hospital. Sally is pregnant with Billy Abbott's child. For any other woman, in any other circumstance, this might be a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. But for Sally, the prospect of motherhood is inextricably linked to the most profound, soul-crushing agony she has ever endured. The memory of baby Ava is not just a passing sorrow, it is a permanent, jagged scar across her soul. The sudden, catastrophic loss of her daughter nearly destroyed her. It shattered her world into a million irreparable pieces, leaving her to navigate a grief so heavy it threatened to pull her under the waves forever. Now, faced with the reality of a new life growing inside her, Sally is paralyzed by a suffocating, icy terror. She initially sought refuge in the likely arms of Audra Charles, terrified to even speak the words aloud to the father of the child. But the truth could not be contained, and she finally confessed her terrifying reality to Billy Abbott. Billy, a man who carries his own unimaginable burden of grief over the tragic loss of his daughter, Delia, stepped up in a way that provided Sally with a fragile, yet vital lifeline. They bonded over their shared understanding of parental devastation. They agreed to put their anxieties on hold, to face the terrifying unknown together, step by trembling step. But as Sally begins to tentatively accept this new chance at motherhood, a heavy, unavoidable obligation settles over her conscience. She knows how fast news travels in the incestuous, gossip-fueled circles of Genoa City. She knows that a secret this massive cannot remain hidden for long. And more importantly, she knows that there is one person in this world who deserves to hear this news directly from her lips. Not from a whispered rumor at the athletic club or a passing comment in the Newman Enterprises elevator. That person is Adam Newman. Adam and Sally share a bond that transcends their broken romance. They are forever tethered together by the agonizing tragedy of losing Ava. They stood together in that sterile hospital room, their worlds collapsing, their hearts breaking in synchronized agony. They mourned the child they were supposed to raise, the future that was violently ripped away from them. Sally knows, with absolute certainty, that the news of her pregnancy will be a devastating trigger for Adam. It will force him to confront the ghost of their daughter. It will force him to look at the empty space where their future was supposed to be. Out of a deep, abiding respect for the love they once shared and the profound grief they weathered together, Sally resolves to tell him privately. It is an excruciatingly difficult decision, one that requires immense emotional fortitude, but she knows it is the only right thing to do. The phone call to arrange the meeting is brief, tense, and loaded with unspoken anxiety. Sally asks Adam to meet her in a quiet, secluded corner of Chancellor Park, away from the prying eyes and eager ears of the city. Adam, still heavily shrouded in his spider persona, still twitching with the residual paranoia of his Las Vegas captivity, agrees. His mind races with dark possibilities. Is she in danger? Has Victor targeted her again? Has the corporate war between his father and Phyllis Summers somehow caught Sally in the crossfire? The protective instinct, buried deep beneath layers of trauma and detachment, flares to life. He navigates the winding paths of the park, his eyes scanning the perimeter, his body tense and ready for a fight that is not coming. He finds her sitting on a wrought iron bench beneath the sprawling branches of an ancient oak tree. The autumn wind wrestles the leaves, casting dancing shadows across her face. Adam approaches cautiously. He immediately notices the nervous energy radiating from her. Her hands are tightly clasped in her lap, her knuckles white. Her eyes, usually so bright and defiant, are wide and filled with a complex mixture of fear, sorrow, and a desperate, pleading vulnerability. Adam sits down on the opposite end of the bench, maintaining a physical distance that mirrors the emotional chasm between them. He tries to project strength. He tries to hide the fractured, traumatized state of his own mind. He asks her what is wrong, his voice low, steady, and carefully controlled. Sally takes a deep, shuddering breath. The air between them grows thick, heavy with the weight of the impending revelation. She looks into his eyes, searching for the man she loved beneath the hardened, guarded exterior. She begins to speak, her voice trembling slightly. She talks about the past few weeks, the strange symptoms, the growing suspicion, and then she drops the anchor. She tells him she has taken the tests. She tells him she is pregnant. And she tells him the child belongs to Billy Abbott. And this is the moment I almost screamed at the screen. The sheer, unadulterated heartbreak of this scene is almost too much to bear. You can actually see the exact second the world stops spinning for Adam Newman. The carefully constructed walls of his spider persona do not just crack, they instantaneously pulverize into dust. The air is sucked out of his lungs. The color drains from his face. For a terrifying, agonizing moment, he is completely paralyzed. The memories hit him with the force of a runaway freight train, the monitor beeping, the silence, the cold, sterile smell of the hospital room. The tiny, lifeless body of the daughter he never got to hold, Eva. The name echoes in his mind, a haunting, beautiful, devastating melody. He remembers the nursery they planned, the dreams they built, the future they mapped out down to the smallest detail. He remembers the profound, soul-shattering realization that he had failed to protect his child. The grief, which he had so carefully compartmentalized and buried beneath layers of anger and corporate ambition, erupts to the surface like a violent volcano. It washes over him, drowning him in a sea of visceral, suffocating pain. He looks at Sally, the woman who was supposed to be the mother of his child, the woman who is now carrying a new life, a life that has absolutely nothing to do with him. The silence stretches on, agonizing and infinite. Sally watches him break, her own tears spilling over her lashes. She reaches out, her hand hovering in the space between them, wanting to comfort him, but knowing she has lost the right to do so. She softly apologizes, not for being pregnant, but for the pain she knows this news is causing him. She explains why she had to be the one to tell him. She tells him that she could not bear the thought of him hearing it from a stranger, because he is the only person in the world who truly understands the depth of the terror she is feeling. She acknowledges their shared loss, explicitly invoking Ava's memory, validating the grief that is currently tearing Adam apart from the inside out. Adam closes his eyes. He grips the edge of the wooden bench so tightly his knuckles turn stark white. He is fighting a massive, internal war. The dark, venomous side of his nature, the side that has been so heavily amplified by the trauma of Las Vegas, screams at him to lash out. It screams at him to be cruel, to use his pain as a weapon, to punish Sally for moving on, to punish the universe for its relentless, unending cruelty. He could easily tear her down. He could easily project his own self-loathing and despair onto her fragile state. But as he opens his eyes and looks at the terrified, vulnerable woman sitting beside him, a profound transformation occurs. Adam forces the darkness down. He actively, consciously chooses grace. It is a monumental effort, a testament to the deep, enduring love he still harbors for her, a love that has evolved past possession and into pure, selfless care. He swallows the bitter, jagged pill of his own destroyed dreams. He looks at Sally, his dark eyes shimmering with tears, and he speaks with a quiet, devastating sincerity. He tells her that he is happy for her. The words hang in the air, fragile and beautiful. He tells her that she deserves this. He tells her that she was always meant to be a mother. He acknowledges the massive, terrifying shadow that Ava's loss casts over this new pregnancy, but he insists, with a fierce, protective conviction, that this new child is a blessing. He tells her that she cannot let the trauma of the past steal the joy of the future. He validates her fear, but he champions her hope. It is a moment of staggering emotional maturity from a man who is historically known for his volatile, destructive reactions. He is bleeding out emotionally, his heart completely shattered, yet he is using his last ounce of strength to build a protective wall around Sally's fragile happiness. No child could ever, replace Ava. Adam makes that clear. The space in his heart reserved for his daughter will remain empty and aching forever. But he separates his tragedy from her triumph. He gives her his blessing, an incredibly poignant, self-sacrificial gift that completely redefines the boundaries of their relationship. But the emotional gauntlet is not over. There is a massive, incredibly complicated elephant sitting on the bench with them, Billy Abbott. The history between Adam Newman and Billy Abbott is written in blood, fears, and decades of bitter, unrelenting hatred. They are historical nemeses, two men who have fought over women, over corporate power, and over the fundamental concepts of morality and redemption. Billy has judged Adam, condemned him, and actively worked to destroy him on multiple occasions. Adam has retaliated with equal, if not greater, venom. The thought of Sally, the woman Adam loves, being permanently, biologically tethered to his greatest rival is a concept that should, by all logic, send Adam into a violent, destructive spiral. It is the ultimate insult added to the ultimate injury. Yet, in this quiet, sacred space in Chancellor Park, Adam does the unthinkable. He confronts the reality of Billy Abbott, and he does it with a shocking level of objective clarity. He knows that he could easily poison Sally's mind. He could easily list Billy's endless flaws, his history of gambling, his reckless impulsivity, his spectacular failures as a partner. But Adam looks at the bigger picture. He looks at the terrifying journey Sally is about to embark on, and he realizes that she needs absolute support, not toxic doubt. Adam takes a breath, steadying his voice, and he actually praises Billy Abbott. He tells Sally that despite their endless, bitter feud, despite the absolute hatred they harbor for one another, there is one thing he cannot deny: Billy is a good father. Adam acknowledges the profound, tragic history Billy carries regarding Delia. He tells Sally that because Billy has walked through the exact same fires of hell that they have, because Billy knows the exact, suffocating agony of losing a child, he will never, ever take this new baby for granted. Adam assures Sally that Billy will protect this child with his life. He will be vigilant, he will be fiercely loving, and he will understand her fears in a way that very few men ever could. The sheer, monumental strength it takes for Adam Newman to validate Billy Abbott in this moment cannot be overstated. He is actively swallowing his own pride, his own hatred, and his own jealousy, all to provide comfort to the woman breaking his heart. It is a profound act of love. He is stepping aside, acknowledging that his chapter with Sally is definitively, permanently closed, and he is actively encouraging her to build a safe, secure future with the man who was once his worst enemy. Sally is completely overwhelmed by Adam's response. The tears flow freely down her cheeks. She expected anger. She expected bitterness. She expected the spider to lash out. Instead, she received the absolute best version of Adam Newman. She received the man who loved her enough to let her go, to bless her future, and to comfort her fears even while he was drowning in his own. She thanks him, her voice thick with emotion. She tells him that his words mean more to her than he will ever know. She tells him that she will always cherish the love they shared, and that Ava will never, ever be forgotten. They sit in silence for a few moments longer, the autumn wind swirling around them, carrying away unspoken words and the lingering ghosts of what might have been. Finally, Sally stands up. She looks down at Adam one last time, offering a sad, grateful smile. He nods, a silent acknowledgement of their permanent parting of ways. She turns and walks away, disappearing down the winding path, leaving Adam entirely alone on the bench. As the sun begins to set over Genoa City, casting long, dark shadows across the park, the true weight of the day settles onto Adam's shoulders. The adrenaline of the confrontation fades, leaving behind a cold, hollow emptiness. He is completely, utterly alone. He has survived the physical torture of Las Vegas. He has navigated the treacherous waters of his brother's addiction. And he has just gracefully handed the love of his life over to his greatest rival. The spider persona, which had been pushed down by the sheer force of his love for Sally, begins to whisper in the dark corners of his mind. Adam looks around the empty park. His family is entirely fractured. Victor is consumed by his ruthless, driven war to destroy Phyllis Summers, completely oblivious to his son's emotional devastation. Nick is lost in a dangerous, drug-fueled haze, a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Chelsea is traumatized and distant. And now, Sally is gone, permanently tied to the Abbott family. Adam has no anchor. He has no safe harbor. He is a man adrift in a sea of trauma and loss. The memories of Las Vegas bleed into the memories of the hospital room. The sound of chains mixes with the sound of a flatlining heart monitor. The psychological toll is staggering. He has played the martyr today. He has done the noble, heartbreakingly right thing, but at what cost to his own fragile sanity? He stands up, his body heavy, his spirit completely crushed. He walks back toward the towering glass and steel structures of the city, disappearing into the gathering darkness. The tragedy of Adam Newman is that his moments of greatest grace are almost always followed by his periods of deepest darkness. He has given Sally the freedom to find happiness, but he has condemned himself to a prison of his own making. Will this devastating revelation, combined with the lingering, toxic trauma of his Las Vegas captivity, push Adam completely into the dark, ruthless embrace of his spider persona? Or will he somehow find a miraculous way to rise from the ashes of his broken heart and forge a new path toward redemption?